Hello, AniCod here, and today I thought we'd bodge together a mousetrap into some sort of Claymore mine, see what we can do with this. For this project I found all we need is a mousetrap or a rat trap. We're going to use a mousetrap. We need some sellotape, some string. I know what it looks like, but that's actually a stapler. You're going to have to take my word for this one. And some strong cable wire. You can use any sort, even if you've got some really strong sea fishing lines, something like that, just something strong enough to hold the actual spring. So the idea is we've got a normal bog standard mousetrap, and we need to get the mousetrap to stop when it triggers in that sort of angle there. The reason for that is any ammunition on the actual spring itself can fly off it. If you leave it to fly all the way around, obviously it's just going to trap the ammunition inside, which is not what we want. So to secure it in place, all we need is the strong cabling. Now I'm lucky enough to find a cable with 2 loops on either end. I think this one was for a GoPro to secure the camera, and that's about as easy as you're going to get. Now all we have to do is secure it over the underside, like so. And this is the best way to get the angle where we want the mousetrap to stop once it's triggered. Now this cable, I've got really lucky again, is just short enough that I can secure it in just the right spot. Now to secure it, this is where the stapler comes in. Now I suppose you can use a screw, maybe screw it in, but remember this is a bodge build. I'm just bodging stuff together in the hope that it'll work. So once you've secured it in place, it should look something like that. I'm going to make sure there's no sharp edges, and the mousetrap will now stop at that sort of angle there. So to set it, you just set it as a normal mousetrap. You put the bar across and lift up the little cheese rack, and that is now set. So when it goes off, as you're going to see now, the mousetrap stops right there and throws whatever's on there across at some pretty decent velocity. So now we need to sort out a way to actually trigger the trap, so people don't need screwdrivers to trigger. And what we're going to use on this is a piece of string. Now I've tied one loop in one end of the string, and luckily on these little mousetraps you've got a little hook, and you can pretty much put the loop, it's a little bit fiddly, but you can put it over, and there you go. So you can now use the string to trigger the trap. Now another thing we need is a little bowl, a little sellotape bowl to hold the ammunition when it's set, and I think sellotape's the best way to get this. So if you just wrap it round, and I'll fast forward it so you don't have to see me fiddling about, you can see I've made like a little bowl out of sellotape on the trap. So when it's set, the ammunition will sit in there nicely, and when it's triggered, it should set off and project the projectiles, whatever we're using, away. So that's it now set. When you pull the string to set it off, it sets, and there we go, and then it's just ready to get reset again. So I've decided to use little 177 pellets. You can use pretty much anything as long as it's not too heavy that the mousetrap can't throw it. But these little things, it doesn't throw it at a velocity that's going to hurt you. It's just a little bit of a shock and a little bit of a surprise. So I'm going to set them, I'm going to drop a few in, and I'm going to show you the kind of velocity it works at. So that's now set. I'm going to be careful when it's set not to pull the cable, because obviously it will go off. And we're going to drop just a couple of these in there just to give you some idea, and obviously because of the shape of the bowl they should sit round about there. So I'll change the camera angle a bit so you get a better angle, and you can see that by pulling the string it throws the projectiles up and across anyone that walks in front of it. So you might going to be thinking at this point, well, what's the point? Well, I know we use normal string, but If we replace the string with something a little bit harder to see, like some thin fishing wire, and we do a similar sort of thing and tie a loop in it, it doesn't have to be a complicated loop, just something strong enough so it doesn't come loose or snap. We can then attach this loop onto the mousetrap, and it can be triggered without anyone knowing they've triggered it unless they're really looking out for it, which, let's face it, no one's going to be looking out for a mousetrap Claymore in the house. So this is its setup then, and I'll do a close-up so you've got a better idea, but you can put the ammunition in and you can see the cable running across, and it's secured to the door with a bit of sellotape. So there's the mousetrap set. It's really hard to see, but if you look closely you can actually see the cable or the fishing wire running across, and it's on the door there with a little bit of sellotape. So it's really hard to see, even when we're trying to look for it there, it's quite hard to see. So let's see it in action then. And there we go. Something simple like a 5-minute build, and it's a lot of fun. And if you've got any brothers or sisters you want to keep out your bedroom, then give this a go. Just remember it is a mousetrap, so be very careful not to trap your fingers because it will give you a little nip and it will hurt. So be careful with that. If you want to see any more Bodge builds, feel free to subscribe. Drop me a like if you enjoyed this one and I know to make more. Thanks for watching.